On Week's WGY Morning News, most of us are wondering, boy, what does the first year of the new decade hold in store for all of us? Who better to ask than the director of the Trends Research Institute? And in his role, he advises some of the largest corporations and some of the largest global interests in the world. Here is Gerald Celente. Gerald, good morning.
Hello, Don. It's been a while.
It has, much too long. I don't know what got into me here. But let's look at the first year of the new decade here. You say it's going to go out the way it came in, with a bust and a bang?
Yeah, unfortunately, it came in with a bust, with a dot-com bust in 2000, and it was only reinflated by the real estate and credit crisis bubble that followed 9/11, which was the bang. And now we're going out with a bust. And again, we sent out our top trends list before the Christmas Day attempted terror strike. So we're looking at, on the bust end, the stimulus money is going to be running out already, since the markets collapsed in 2009. To prop them back up, the government has lent, spent, or guaranteed over $11 trillion. And we say over $11 trillion because we don't know what the Federal Reserve refuses to open their books to see all of what they've put out there. So the stimulus is going to begin to run out. All of these programs that have boosted the economy temporarily, from the cash to clunkers to the tax breaks for new home buyers, in April those will run out. 9 out of 10 mortgages right now are being backed by we the people. We've already bailed out Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to the tune of $400 billion. It's going to cost the taxpayer. They just passed legislation, H.R. 4173, that's going to guarantee $4 trillion to bail out the too big to fails this year. So this money game has to run out at some point. You just can't keep printing phantom money out of thin air, backed by nothing and producing nothing, without destroying the economy. So we believe the crash of 2010 is at hand.
And what happens after that? Where do we go from there?
Well, the system has to wash itself out. When I talked about coming in with a bust, after the dot-com bubble burst, they should have let the losers take their lumps. But with this mentality of America going from the greatest entrepreneurial empire on the planet to now that we always have to save the big guys, because if they fail, we'll all go under. So rather than letting it wash itself through the system, these guys don't want to take their losses. So we have to bail out the Goldman Sachs gang and others, and rather than letting the system clean itself. It's like life. We all have ups and downs. When you're in a down, you don't keep spending what you don't have. And this mentality of having to keep spending and growing cannot sustain itself. You need a productive capacity. Go back to the 1990s when we were in a recession. Clinton gets elected on the mantra, "It's the economy, stupid." How did we get out of that recession? Well, it wasn't government policy. It was called the Internet revolution. Products were invented, designed, manufactured, marketed, serviced. A productive capacity. We need that kind of thing to get us out of this.
Are you optimistic that we can do it again?
Absolutely. If the government gets out of our way. Again, this whole mentality about taking our money and giving it to the big guys, whether it's state, local, or federal, the same old story. You want to build a plant, you want to build a stadium, you want to build an office park, you want to build a mall. We have loan guarantees, we have tax breaks, we have infrastructure repair. So they're taking the money from the little people, giving it to the big people, rather than letting the entrepreneurial spirit, the innovative can-do American spirit, find its mark. So yes, we have it better than any other country in the world, but the governments keep getting in our way and stopping us from doing it.
You know what? You mentioned stadium, and what immediately came to mind, I'm a lifelong Yankee fan. I am a lifelong, since I was a kid, I've been a Yankee fan. And when George Steinbrenner said, hey, look, you better build us a new stadium or we're leaving New York, you know what my reaction was? Don't let the subway turnstile hit you in your butt on the way out.
Exactly. Who are these people? Where do they come off with this? And every politician, you're up there in Albany, the worst job I ever had, Don, in my entire life, and I'm a Bronx guy, I've had some jobs, was when I was the assistant to the Secretary of the New York State Senate back in the early 70s. What a disgusting spectacle to see grown men grovel. And that's what used to happen all the time, and it still does. The system's corrupt from top to bottom, and that's what's ruining this country. From the local, state, to federal levels, if they unleash the innovative spirit of the American people and stop taking our money and giving it to the Goldman Sachs gang, the Merrill Lynch mob, the Citibank crooks. You know, there's a report that came out yesterday, that AIG and a handful of other banks were given $70 billion of our money to cover bad bets that they made with AIG. And the New York Federal Reserve Bank told them not to tell anybody that they got the money, and when they issued their yearly reports, they didn't include it. Do you know who the Federal Reserve, head of the New York Federal Reserve Bank was? Our current Treasury Secretary, Timothy Geithner. The fix is in.
Oh, my. Gerald, can you stay with us for another session here?
Sure can.
Okay, don't go away. Gerald Celente from the Trends Research Institute. We're going to talk more about what's in store in the first year of the new decade here at Don Week's WGY Morning News. On Don Week's WGY Morning News, our guest this morning, and I don't know what happened, but we used to get together with him quite often. Gerald Celente from the Trends Research Institute, who advises some of the top corporations and some of the biggest interests in the world, and we're looking ahead toward the year 2010 and beyond. One of the things that it was remarkable because you came out with the top trends of 2010. No sooner did it come out when you predicted terrorism would raise its ugly head again, and whammo! On come Christmas, we had this guy trying to blow up an airliner.
It's just the beginning, unfortunately. You know, we're political atheists. We look at things the way they are, not the way we want them to be. It's as old as the Old Testament, an eye for an eye. The United States has now been in Iraq for, 7 years, occupying it. They've been in Afghanistan nearly 10 years. And now, we issued this alert was because of the United States expanding its role in Pakistan. Under President Obama, he's launched double the amount of Predator missiles into Pakistan, a sovereign nation, than Bush did in his last year. Over 700 people, civilians, according to the Pakistani government, have been killed by these Predator drones. Plus, the United States is increasing military push into Pakistan, and now there's the biggest refugee crisis since Rwanda going on there because of the military incursions. You have Swat Valley, South and North Waziristan. We're going to see blowback. Anti-Americanism sentiments is at all-time highs. And you also need to understand that there are some 300,000 Pakistanis living in the United States. So if their families, neighborhoods, loved ones get killed by American actions, they're going to seek revenge. It's as simple as that. And you don't need to be a member of a organized terrorist group. We see it with the lone wolf terrorists that happened with the Fort Hood incident. So again, it's not what you want, what you like, what you believe, what you think should happen. That we just look at it and say, this is the situation. These people really hate you, and they're going to get even.
Gerald, let me ask you about this. This is another one of the things that you see in one of the trends that you see in 2010, and that's not made in China. We're actually going to start buying U.S. goods?
Not only U.S. goods, it begins local. You know, I'm a believer in the golden rule. Those who have the gold rule. And China has getting all the gold. It's bad enough with the Republicans and the Democrats. Can you imagine the Chinese? So what we're looking at here, trade barriers are already going up, Don. They've put tariffs now on Chinese tires. They've put them on steel tubing. Over 200 actions taken worldwide, by the way, against Chinese dumping into the market. No one could undercut them. Even the Indonesians, a very poor country, they can't make nails as cheap as the Chinese by the wire to make the nails. So we're going to see a huge backlash. And it also, again, I don't take stands on issues in the sense that we have to look at them objectively. But for my personal life, I don't buy anything made in China. I buy local everything I can. I support my farmers. I support everybody I can. I don't go to big corporate stores. I don't eat corporate food. And Americans need to understand that our standard of living, and these are only facts. They promised us under the Clinton administration with NAFTA that our standard of living would increase and our working conditions would improve. They've gone the opposite direction. For example, right now, median household income is below 1999 levels by over $2,000, and we're going lower. So if we don't support our communities, our neighbors, put America first, we're going to be under the rule of other countries. We're losing the jobs. Again, this is a worldwide trend. As economies go down, tariff barriers go up. Not made in China is going to be a big trend. Another
trend I wanted to hit with you really quick, and we'll have to make this the our final look ahead. You see big changes coming in media.
Yes, we saw what happened with newspapers with the Internet. They're going out of business or shrinking dramatically. The same thing's going to happen with big broadcast. Now you just hook that one wire up, that HDMI wire from your computer to your widescreen TV, and now no longer does the big network control what's on that widescreen TV. So we're going to see startup companies, new entertainment companies, Internet-based, now broadcasting to the widescreen. Everyone's fighting for the eyeballs on the handhelds. Americans only watch about 2 minutes a day of video on little computers, but they watch 6 hours a day on the widescreen. So now the revolution is underway. It could be monumental.
That's it. That's all the time we have this morning. Gerald, I hope that this won't be as infrequent as I have made it, and I accept full blame for this. Hope we can get you back on the air here with us soon.
Oh, I love being on. Thank you, Don.
Thanks so much. Gerald Celente, the director of the Trends Research Institute here on Don